teacher,
Yeah.
or a professor. So now I'm not talking like a pastor, prophet, teacher, evangelist, not fivefold teacher,
School
but I'm
teacher,
talking
right?
about, like, if you dream about a school teacher or professor, and you're in a university and you're with professor,
Yeah.
then what would the difference between those two be, or how would they be different from a teacher who's a fivefold ministry teacher?
Good question. Often with schooling and education, it's about learning, right? I mean, that's about learning, and it's about training. So if you're going into or are involved in any educational institution in a dream, it's often speaking to a learning environment. There's some aspects of your life that you're learning in, right? And the higher up the educational ladder, so to speak, you go, then it just shows the stage of advancement of advance that you are in that aspect of your life, whatever it is. You can be at university as a PhD student in one area of your life, and you can be in primary school with the kids in another. I mean, I've kind of had dreams like that, you know. Like one week I'll be at university and leaving it on work placement, which obviously speaks to something, and then in another one I'll be kind of like in a primary school with 5-year-olds. But it's just different aspects of my life that it's speaking to. Some areas I'm more advanced in than others, and it's like that for all of us. So I think that's kind of where teachers and learning comes in, right?
And so if say for example you're going through a period of learning and stuff like that, and then you have a dream about being in an exam, and there's an examiner or an invigilator, what would that then speak to?
Yeah, I mean, exam dreams are one of the most common ones, right? You know, most sometimes you can dream about an exam because it's a feeling of I'm not prepared for this thing. So there's definitely like an unpreparedness, and we kind of if we're in a stressful situation, that can often speak to that situation. I mean, and you don't. A lot of people who don't know God have those kind of dreams, right? That's just sort of like a part of the stress of life. But also, there are other exam dreams I've had which are not like that, and they're kind of quite weird, and that often speaks to a testing or a period of testing. And it's important to note that when God tests us, it's not a judgment. It's a testing to prove the ability of,
prove
right?
our mettle,
and prove our mettle. In education, I've kind of worked alongside education for a number of years, and in education there's a thing called formative testing and summative testing, right? And summative testing is typically like that's your matric or your A levels or your like higher diploma. It's like they've completed this course of study. What we want to see is like we want to sum up what this person can do, and that's it. It's done. And then there's formative testing, which is you test somebody to see kind of where they are in a thing, so you can help them move on. And God's testing is normally, for us, it's not a judgment like I've defined this person and that's their grade, because our grade is Jesus by faith. But it's like a metallurgist testing the metal, right? So it's like, how pure is this metal? Do I need to? Are there still things in it which I need to come off? Do I need to keep it on the, keep it being refined, or is it ready and is it done now and I can make something out of it? And that's just part of a process. It's part of a process of growth and development. I remember I had a dream where I was being given an exam. It was in a really nice room. I was sat on my own. My family was actually my dad was in a room opposite, but he was looking in on me. I knew I had not much time left, but then the clock went backwards, so time was made for me. And then I had an answer sheet, which was a square of like A4 paper, except it wasn't paper, it was all orange skin. And I knew the answer to the question, but I couldn't write it on the orange skin, because you can't write anything on the skin of an orange, because it's all waxy and so on. And I'd felt that the meaning of that was I was in a period of testing, and orange is often to do with persistence and perseverance. And so the answer to, even though I knew the answers in my head, the way that I was going to get through this test was just to keep going. That was what the test was perseverance.